Okay, so the topics that we have discussed yesterday, right? So we will have a quick revision on that and then we will be seeing some new topics. Okay, so you can see we have covered the introduction part, then why to choose PS technology, then even we have discussed about the codes, what are the services we are gonna cover that, and then yeah, so you can see 20 AWS services we're gonna cover, and then we will be moving to Linux part, and then we will be covering the DevOps tools. And these are the DevOps tools: Git, GitHub, Chef, Maven, Docker, Jenkins, Ansible, SonarQube, Nagios, Kubernetes, Terraform, and we will see some real-time projects, right? So yesterday the topic what we have discussed, or before like in some of the session, like we have done two session of this demo, AWS demo. So in day one we have discussed what is server, then what is cloud, right? Then what exactly is public cloud, private cloud, right? So even I gave the I try to correlate this with the real time scenarios, right? So public cloud, it's like renting a bicycle that anyone can use, right? You pay when you want to ride and you share it with your friends or any other person, right? So, what is this public cloud? It will be cost effective and it will be easy to access, right? So, from any of the place, whether you are in Mumbai, whether you are in India, whether you are outside India, from anywhere you can go and access the public vehicle. That means right now we have like Yulu bike we have. Then we have so many things. Rapido. We can go and rent a bike. We can go and rent a car, right? So it doesn't depend that like you have to go to that specific location, because whenever you, if you're requesting for renting a bike, it will using GPRS location, it will give you the location of your nearby your place, and you have to go and pick the bike, right? So that is very very efficient, and that is very very feasible, because you just have to use the service. You don't have to worry about the maintenance and the technical stuffs, right? Similarly, private cloud, that means if you want to own your own data center. Private cloud means you don't want to use public cloud. You want to go with your on premises data center, or you want to go with public cloud. You will be using the services, but what services? You will be using the public cloud. Suppose AWS cloud or Azure or GCP, but here you will not use public cloud. You will request for private network, right? Private network. So in AWS language we call VPC, or if you talk about Azure we call VPN, virtual private network. Okay, so the services will be same, but in different cloud computing services the technical term is different. Okay, so private cloud right now in market, we like the same provider, the same service provider who is providing public cloud services, they also have this option, private cloud. Okay, so suppose if you have created the AWS account, okay, if you have created or if you have purchased the enterprise, or if you have created enterprise account in AWS. Okay, so enterprise means I will be using this for my organizations, right? So here I can request, I can ask AWS, or we have an option for VPC. So you can see if I go for the console, this is my console. If I log in with my credential, username and password, okay. So you have to go for the global search bar. This is the global search bar, and here you have to type VPC. So you can see isolated cloud resources. Okay, that means among the available portion of the cloud, they gonna rent you small portion of the cloud, and this will be only specific to your organizations, only dedicated to your organizations, and this is known as in AWS virtual private cloud. VPC. Okay, so suppose if I am using three servers, and if I am using one CDN and one route 53 services, so I'm gonna use this network only to launch this services. I cannot go and use other services because this portion I have taken on a rent from AWS. Okay, so if I am having this portion, I have to pay the bill. Okay, so this is all about private network. Then what else we have seen? We have seen why in why today public cloud is so popular. Why? So there are several advantage. The very first is cost saving, right? I don't have to think about the bulk amount. I can just, for the number of hours I am using the service, I have to pay the bill for that particular time, right? You don't have to go and buy you don't have to go and buy the data center. Whatever the feature you will be getting on your physical data center, every feature, every services are available on virtual data center, or you can call data center that is in cloud. Cloud means internet. Cloud means somewhere. Exactly where we do not know. Okay, that means AWS has data centers all around the world. They have multiple data centers. Okay, so wherever you want, in which region, even you will see if I go for the console page. This is AWS console. Here on the right side, on the top right, you'll be able to see reason. So here you will be getting a list of reasons. So you can see these reasons are disabled because this account is a free tier account. If you go for enterprise, this edition and all, you will be able to get this option enabled. So you can see, like, you have an option to select the reason. That means if I want to deploy my server in particular Mumbai region, I have that option. But in Mumbai, okay, so in that scenario, a data center, suppose the data center that is in Mumbai, AWS data center that is in Mumbai, on that data center my server will be launched. Okay, so I have the option here to select the region. But in Mumbai, where exactly is the data center, I do not know. Even no one knows because that is very very confidential. Okay, so we have seen the first factor is, or the first advantage is cost savings. The second advantage, you can easily scale up or scale down your requirement. That means instead of one rented bike, if I need, I can go for two, three bike, right? Or suppose if there is no such requirement of two bike, I can just come down to one number of bike. If according to my requirement, we have an option to grow. So easy to grow, accessible anywhere. I will be able to access from anywhere. Just the requirement will be internet. Okay, there is no, there is no such hodgepodge, like you don't have to take the tension of technical stuff. You don't have to take the tension of the maintenance part. Everything will be taken care by the owner. You just have to come and use the service. Safe and secure. Safe and secure means, suppose if you have rented one yulo bike, right? So if you are going to some place, right, you don't have to protect that bike, that bike will be stolen. No, because they have some GPRS and all, some type of security features, right? So they have the tracking point. So you don't have to worry about the security. It is very safe and secure. So you can just correlate the scenarios with the cloud. If you are using any of the services in cloud, it's not that there's a risk of getting, like, there is a risk of security breach. No, AWS has the strongest security. It assures that they have the strongest security. And like, till now, till now there is no such complaint regarding AWS cloud, or even for Azure, or even for GCP. But right now in the cloud market, AWS is the leading cloud service provider. Okay. Now latest and greatest, right? That means, if suppose, if I have rented a bike, yulo bike, right? And in future, if the technology gets updated, so even they will be update the same thing on the bike, because you can see right now we have electrical vehicles, right? So everything you'll be able to, even you'll be able to use, you'll be able to run the music, right? So this is what that means, with respect to, or with like in future if anything comes up, it will be, just a second, yeah, in future if anything comes up, any latest features, any latest some types of application, it will be implemented by the owner. Okay. So anyhow, whenever you approach to the cloud, you will be getting the latest technology. Suppose right now, if I go for server, this AWS account, and if I go for server, that is EC2. Okay, elastic cloud compute. Okay. So you can see, suppose here, if I go and create server, the very first thing what I need operating system, right? I need to see what operating system I will be using, right? Because suppose you have your laptop, right? So your laptop will be having two things. What is that? The first, software program, that is operating system, and the second, hardware, right? So first, whenever you are going to launch your server, you have to give your preference for the operating system. In AWS language, we call Amazon machine image. Okay. So you can see, if I click here, browse more AMIs. AMIs is nothing. In AWS language, it is called Amazon machine image. So you can see, it is a template that contains the software configuration, that means operating system, application server, and applications that is required to launch your server. If you do not select any of the operating system, this option is very mandatory, because if you are going to purchase a laptop without operating system, you will not find any laptop in the market, right? So whatever the laptop you are receiving, software plus hardware configuration is there, right? So yesterday I have covered this topic, that what is operating system, right? So it is the interface between user and computer hardware. So only without operating system, user will not be able to interact with computer, laptop, mobile phone, television, or even server. Okay. So now the first thing, you have to go and select operating system. So you can see right now 2023, even you will be able to find the latest features of operating system. And even if you want to go for some previous or older version, even you will have that option. Okay. So suppose if I want to go for Linux operating system, I will type Linux, and here you'll be able to see, you will get several types of flavors of Linux. You can see, this is the latest operating system, or you can call this is the latest AMI, and even they have mentioned 2023, right? Similarly, this is the older version. This is the older version. The name is Amazon Linux 2. Similarly, if you want, that means every type of versions, every types of features, or like not features, every types of version will be available. Either you want, that means according to your requirement, if you want to go for latest, you can go, or if in your production, or if you in your production environment, if you are like the whole process, like your SDLC process is very much compatible with the older version, even you will find that. Okay. So you can see, for Linux, there is a Linux, then RHEL, that is the enterprise edition. You can see, even we have SUSE, even we have Debian. So many things, right? You can see there are so many options we have. Okay. So this is latest and greatest. Okay. Then we have seen why AWS. why you have to go for the very first time if you're learning for the cloud computing. First, what I suggest, okay, what I suggest, first you have to start with AWS, because as comparison to AWS, if you go for Azure, Azure is not so difficult. It's very easy. It's very easy. It has this one GUI mode, that is graphical user interface. You have to create the account, and with the help of mouse, click and the task will be done, just the same way how you are using window laptop, right? Same way as your is there. So if you have studied AWS, and in future if you want to explore more cloud services as your GCP, it will be very easier for you to learn that. Even if you have studied AWS, and if you go for Azure, you can just wrap all the topics in just 30 days. You will not have any difficulties in learning Azure, because whether it's AWS, whether it's Azure, whether it's GCP, services are same. Just you have to take care of the technical term. Okay, so in AWS we call VPC, right? But in Azure we call VPN. So just there will be small minor changes in the names. That's it. Okay, so you can see lots of services. That means AWS, as compared to other cloud computing services, it is offering so many services. Okay, with respect to storage, with respect to computing, and with respect to data analysis. It's not that Azure do not have the services. Azure too had the has many services. But right now, if you compare with Amazon or AWS has larger or more number of services. Okay, so what is this? Oh, yeah. So you can see global coverage. What is this? That means AWS has data centers all around the world. Like it just like having offices in different city. That means having the branches in different cities in different countries, right? So this will help make the things fast and reliable, right? So if the branches are spread all around the world, or if the data centers, or if AWS has covered almost all the regions, right? So if suppose if right now if you are required to launch a server in particular region, that is Mumbai, in future if you want to expand your business in suppose California or New York, so you will be looking for that particular location, right, for particular reason. So even you will have that option. Okay, now the third point, it grows with you. It grows with you. Okay, that means just like you can get more chairs when guests come over, right? So AWS lets you quickly get more compute power when you need it. That means it is very flexible. Just like I have discussed, you will be able to scale up, you will be able to scale down. Okay, so just a second. So you can see, suppose if I have this website, okay, if I have this website, and suppose I have recently started my e-commerce business, right? So currently suppose if I have 100 number of customers that visits my website in an hour, 100 customers in an hour. Okay, but in future, so okay, so now, right now, suppose right now I have deployed this application on two number of servers. Okay, I have deployed this application on this two servers. Okay, but in future if the demand gets increased, that means right now it's 100. Okay, and in future if it goes to 1000, that means 1000 number of customer visits in an hour. Okay, so that time if my demand gets increased, or if my, like if I want to expand the business, or if yeah, if my, like the number of requests that is visiting to my website or the number of requests that is coming to my website, if it gets increase, okay, so that time this two server will not be enough to handle this many requests, right? So definitely if my business are expanding, if I am able to get more customers, so I have to go and purchase more servers also, right? Because this two servers will not be sufficient to handle this request. Suppose in the starting I have taken the configuration that is very low configuration server I have set, okay. This two server is of very low configuration, okay. But at the time of offers the number of requests that is coming to my website got increased, so this server will not be enough. So what I can do, according to my requirement, I can go and launch more servers. And when suppose like offers got over and the traffic got reduced to the normal, that means it was 100 earlier, right? Earlier it was 100, and suppose it's off season and it will be reduced to 50, just 50 numbers of customers they visits to my website in an hour. So what I can do, so 50 numbers of customers can be handled by this server itself, so there is no use of this extra server. So even according to my requirement, I can go and delete these servers. I can go and terminate the servers. Okay. So that means you can scale up and you can scale down according to your requirement. Scale up and this is scale down. Okay. Now, safe and secure, this I have discussed, right? So it will come up with so many security features, right? There will be MFA, that is multi-factor authentication. If someone tries to use your account, so first they will be adding username and password, and then they have to go through several number of authentication, and if they gets verified, then only they will be allowed to log in. Okay. Then always improving, this is very very accurate point, because the time, till the time when AWS came to the market till now, every time it tries to update the console. You can see this is the console what we use. So every 6 months, every like 2 months, you will be able to see that a new features has been added, a new functionality has been added. Okay. So they used to keep on growing. Okay. And the very important factor, that is pay as you go. So that means you only pay for what you use. That means if I have this four number of servers, one, two, three, four, okay, and if my business just runs from morning 8 a.m. to evening 5 p.m. Okay, my business just runs for this particular time. Okay, so I have to suppose for this particular time only the servers are running. Okay, post 5 p.m. I stop my server. I will not delete, I will stop my server. So the time when you stop your server, okay, you don't have to pay the bill. That means the duration when your server is running, when you're using the service, for that particular time you have to pay the bill. That means pay as you go. Okay. So you can see this a bit like paying for a ride when you take a taxi, right? Suppose if I am booking an Ola cab, okay, if I am traveling, till the time I will be traveling, I have to pay. Once I have been dropped off, I don't have to pay, right? Then what else we have discussed? This many topics we have discussed, right? Now let's go to the, yeah, this we have seen. Even this we have covered, right? Even we have seen the cloud downtime that happened in 2015. And this is the Gartner report. The top companies or players in the cloud market. So the first, AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba, Oracle. Okay. Now the certification. Okay, available AWS certification. So first you have to go for associate level. Okay, so but before associate, you can also go for foundation level. That's known as practitioner certification. So you can see cloud practitioner certification. So this is just a basic understanding. You don't, it's not compulsory that if you do not have the cloud practitioner certification, you cannot go for associate. The course what we are covering, that is associate level course. Okay, so foundational, it's your choice. If you want, you can go for this certification. But if you have done the foundational certification, and if you are mentioning that you have done cloud practitioner certification, it is of no use. Because foundational or cloud practitioner means it's just a basic level, very very easy, basic things, that's it. But if you're gonna mention in the resume that you have done associate level certification, it will have more weightage. Okay, so if you want to give a try, you can go for cloud practitioner, but I will suggest don't waste money because each certification they have some charges. Okay, so let me show you. So you can see AWS certification, and if you come down, you'll be able to see so many things. Choose your AWS certification path. So if I go here, so you can have a look on this. Okay, solution architect, application architect, this is for data analytics. If you are in the data engineering field, and if you want to move to cloud, you have to go for this certification. So this is solution architect. Okay, so this is development engineer, this is for administrators who are like server admin, system admin, right? These are for testers. Okay, so this is along with DevOps. Let me show you the charges. So you can just select the drop down, and you'll be able to see this. So you can see, if you go for cloud practitioner, no, not this one, cloud practitioner, that is foundational certification. If you go, the charges is 100 USD. So what is this charges? Let me convert this into INR. So you can see 8,322. You can round off, right? 8,300. Okay, so this will be the charges if you go for this certification, practitioner, foundation level. Okay, similarly, you can go back and you can just select a drop down. And if you want to go for solution architect, you can click on this, and here the charges will be little lesser. So let me show you, the charges is 80 USD. Oh, they have increased. This charges gets fluctuate. Okay, every month you will not be able to find the same. It gets fluctuate. So you can see right now they have done 150 USD. Recently, I have seen like 1 week before, I have seen it was 80 USD, but right now they have increased 150 USD. That means it will be something around 10 or 9, yeah, sorry, 12, 12k, 12k 5, 12.5. Okay, so you can see 65 questions will be there, either multiple choice or multiple response. So you have to just tick mark the correct answer, that's it. You will be given 130 minutes to complete the exam. Okay, so if you want to read more, you can refer this. You can just type in Google AWS certification charges and do not refer others website, just go for the particular AWS website. Okay, you will be able to get the correct information. Okay, so if you come down here itself, in the first page here itself, if you come down, you can see foundational, no prior experience needed. Okay, if you want to go for associate level, okay, you should have a strong subject knowledge. Okay, so once you have done with the associate level, then you can go for the professional. Okay, so if you want to appear for professional certification, at least you should have 2 years of experience, because this will be professional certification, and after this you can go for specialty certification. Okay, so you can see in cloud practice, in foundation level only one certification is there, that is cloud practitioner. But if you go for associate level, you will be able to get different certification based on your designation. If you are a developer, you will be going for this certification. If you are system admin, or if you are server admin, you will be going for this. If you are working for data analyst or data engineer, you will be going for this. Or if you do not have any IT experience, like non IT and something, you can directly go for solution architect. Okay, similarly for professional level also, you will have two type: solution architect and DevOps engineer. Okay, similarly for this also, there will be different categories. So according to your designation, you have to select a proper one. Okay, so this was all about certification. So earlier, you can see earlier they used to mention like this, that if you want to go for foundational level certification, at least minimum 6 months of fundamental AWS cloud and industry knowledge is required. Earlier they used to mention, right? But right now there is no such prerequisite, right? There is no such prerequisite. You can see here. Yeah, you can see here, no prior experience needed. Earlier, they used to mention like this. For associate, they have mentioned 1 year of experience, but right now they have mentioned 2 years of experience. Okay. For professional, 2 years of comprehensive experience. Okay, this was all about certification. Okay. Now we know what is cloud, right? Now, what is cloud computing? So, cloud computing is the on demand delivery of compute power, database, storage, application, and other IT resources through a cloud service platform using internet with pay as you go pricing model. Okay, so cloud computing service. It's nothing but on demand delivery. If you're requesting for a server on demand, instantly you will be given a server. Okay, so either you can go for compute power services, or if you're looking for database server, or if you're looking for S3 storage, or if you're looking to deploy any application or any other IT resources. That means here you'll be able to find several number of resources that is getting used in IT company, that is getting used in IT field. Okay, so everything you'll be able to get here, just you need internet, and you have to pay the bill as you go, as you use, you have to pay the bill. Okay, so characteristic of cloud, this we have seen: on demand self service, whenever it is needed you will get the service. Broad network access, you will be able to access from anywhere. Scalability, scale up, scale down. Resource pooling, that means it's just like a pool, it's just like a big ocean, every resources you'll be able to find here. Measured services, whatever the services you are using, everything you will be able to track, everything you'll be able to track, you will be able to measure. Okay, so this we have covered. Okay, this we have covered, right? Why should I learn AWS? Yeah, there are cloud computing provider, computing providers. We have, see, cloud computing providers we know, right? AWS as your GCP. But here there are different cloud computing service. So the first one, infrastructure as a service. The second, platform as a service. The third, software as a service. Okay. So infrastructure as a service, what is that? So you can see, suppose if I have a data center on my premises, okay, if I have my own physical data center, remember I am using the term physical data center. Okay, so here if I have my own data center, it will be a private cloud, right? It's a different thing that we do have an option for private cloud in public cloud. Okay, that is a different scenario. But right now understand, if you have your own physical data center, okay, so there you have to take care of data, right? You will be the person who will be the responsible, who will be managing the data. You will be the person who will be looking after deployment of application. You will be the person who will be selecting the runtime operating system, and even you will be the person who will be selecting where to deploy your application, on which server. If you need server, you will be asking your team members to create a server, or you will be approaching to the server admin or system admin to create servers, like four number of servers or five number of servers, and they will be sharing the IPs with you. Why? Because once the program has been written, the code has been written, you will deploy that code, that application on the server, and you will test, right, whether the codes are running, like everything is fine or not, right? You're gonna have test, you will build, then you will also go for the quality checks, right? So each and every component from top to bottom, data and access, application, runtime, operating system, virtual machine, compute, networking, even storage, everything we have to manage. Everything from A to Z, we will be the person who gonna take care of the data center, from operational to maintenance. If something happens to my networking things, or if something happens to the storage, I have to take care of the things, right? So from A to Z, everything you gonna manage. Okay, but if you go for infrastructure as a service, infrastructure as a service, you, like this green color means you gonna manage, this blue color means from which platform you are taking this service, they will be managing these things. That means storage part, networking part, and compute part. Okay, your cloud provider will manage, and apart from this components you have to manage. Okay, then platform as a service, platform as a service. So if you go for, so this is known as IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So you can see IaaS. The second one, platform as a service, that means from the storage part till the runtime, till the operating system, if anything happens to any of the component, it will be taken care by the service provider. You just have to look after your data accessibility, and you have to look after your application. You will be the person, you will be the person who gonna manage this two component, right? But if you go for software as a service, software as a service, that means everything from A to Z, everything gonna handle by the service provider. You just have to look after your data and accessibility, from deploying apps, from deploying application, from from launching the servers, from creating the storage, even the networking part, everything, if anything happens to this component, everything will be looked after, everything will be looked by your cloud service provider. Okay, so these are the examples. You can see infrastructure as a service means here you will get example AWS, Microsoft Azure, even Google Compute Engine. But if you talk about platform as a service, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, Google App Engine, even Adobe, right? But if you talk about software as a service, that is Gmail, right? Gmail is a software as a service, right? You just have to use the service. You don't have to worry about anything apart from data. Okay, so this all are the example of IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. That is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Okay, so these are the basic things what we should be knowing about. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this class here. So from Monday onwards, we will be starting the AWS service. Like we will be starting the first AWS services, that is IAM. Okay. Now tell me guys if you have any doubt.